So we've got our nymph hook in the vise. This is just a 2x long hopper hook. You can kind of use anything that's kind of similar. We're going to go ahead and put down a layer of thread and cut off the tag. And this is just a simplified version of the Prince Nymph. Well, maybe not simplified, but more durable. So we're going with ice stub, peacock, and we're going to put a small ball of it here at the back of the fly. This little ball should be like right above the hook point. And what this is going to do is it's going to help those goose biots that we're going to tie in a second stay splayed out. So it's literally just a tiny little ball that you can see there. It doesn't have to be perfect or pretty, because we're going to go ahead and grab one of these biots and we're going to tie it in. So the thing with these biots, they can kind of confuse people. In order to get the full amount, you can cut them, you can do that sort of stuff. What I do is I just pull them off, like you just saw. It's not difficult. And a biot has, biot has two sides to it. Obviously, you got one side that's going to be kind of curved down. The other side, if you look at it, it'll be curved up. If I can zoom that in some. And it has like an actual cup shape to it. So how you tie this in or onto your fly is going to either make that biot shoot inside or outside. And this is why it's important. Because right here, the cup shape is going to be pointing out. I want this biot to shoot away from the hook. If I tied this in the other direction, it's going to shoot in towards the hook. And it kind of, you lose the effect of the biot. So all I've did is I've tied that in the entire length. And it can be pretty tough stuff. So you can, handle it pretty forcefully. So that's about half the length of the hook. And you can see that little bit up there towards the bead. I'm going to get rid of that. Just put a couple thread wraps over it. Then we're going to grab our second one. We're just going to make it the same distance. I mean, you saw how many wraps went on top of that. It's not going to come undone. So I just measured it up, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the hook. This is why having a rotary vise is really helpful, because I'm just tying this in, and I can make sure it's perfectly level. And that bump of the dubbing automatically shoots those things out. And the curvature of the biot makes it shoot out even more. So to help this more, we're going to use a little bit of wire. This is just amber medium. And we're going to tie that in on the side of the hook. And this will help make the fly thicker or look a little bit more beefy. If you did it on like the bottom or something like that, you can do that. But I'm just cranking it in here. I'm on my side of the hook. And I'm going to put a couple extra thread wraps down there, right where the start of the wind will be. That way, when I go to wind the wire, it won't budge, won't move. And we're just going to dub the entire body with that peacock ice dub. You can use an actual peacock. Here that's some guys do that. That's what the classic pattern is. That's what I did for a long time. And then I found this stuff, and I just kind of have gone all in because it's so durable. And we're just going to dub up a body. Alright, there's a little separation here between the bead and where I finished, but now we're just going to counter wrap this wire, which means the opposite direction of what you've been putting the dubbing on. You wrap up, helps it to be even more durable. And I'm going to do 3 wraps, 4 wraps, do one more. And I'm going to crank down a couple of them right here behind the bead, and that'll hold the bead into place. And then I'm going to put a whole bunch of thread wraps here to make sure that doesn't come loose. And we're going to helicopter that off, which is just rotating it. And another good feature of the rotary vise, I can just trim all those crazy looking fibers that are shooting everywhere. Trim them off real quick, make it nice and pretty even, and those will get loose as you catch fish, so it's not like it's a huge deal, but I just like it to look nice from the start. Here's another variation of the original. Is I'm using a soft tackle. This is the hen feather here, and I think I pulled 2 off, and it did. So we just need one, and you're going to go ahead and strip all of that light fluffy fiber, the down portion, off, so you're left with these longer straight individual pieces of the feather. and I cut it, and I'm going to go ahead and tie that in. With my left hand, I'm sliding it to get that stem out of there. And did a couple of wraps that were really tight, and we're going to do about 1.5 wraps of this soft hackle. And I like it to be pretty long, because if you look at most of the mayflies and stoneflies and stuff, they usually have some pretty long legs, and I fish these a ton for brook trout, so I just want something that looks enormous and really buggy. So I did 1 wrap all the way around, and then another half wrap, and now I'm going to trim off this excess. And it's a bit crazy looking, so we're going to clean that up a little bit, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to hold those fibers with my left hand and then wrap over them with the thread. And it doesn't always make the most beautiful looking flies, but it makes more durable flies if you go this route. So that's really what I'm after with this pattern. And then once I've done that, I'm taking my right hand and just stroking all those fibers down. This is how people make like a salmon patterns and stuff. And it's just getting all those out of the way, because we're about to put on our white goose biots to make the wing. And so I just pulled 2 off the stem, just like I did with the rusty brown color. And I'm holding it in at an angle with my left thumb there. Just did 2 wraps, and I make those wings be as long as the body, and I'm actually making these point down, right? So that's where the difference is. If you put them in the other direction, they would be shooting up and off the fly, and I don't want that. So I've put the other one in at an angle, just like you saw me do before, and then to make this super durable, I fold back the excess and then wrap over top of them. And I'm going to come in here with the scissors, snipping that pretty close. Doesn't have to be perfect. The brook trout don't care if it's perfect. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and put on a little bit of super glue on the thread here, with my crazy looking thing, and just going to do 2 wraps with that. Real simple, real basic. This will make everything kind of stick together. And then I'm going to do 2 whip finishes. So I find my whip finishing tool. There it is. Okay. So just 2 whip finishes, and when I finish this off, that glue is going to be really cemented in there. So I fished this pattern just yesterday. We caught I think it was like a dozen fish on it, something like that, and the fly looked just the same. Didn't fall apart or anything. So it's a great pattern. Imitates a lot of different things. It's good fly.